body is constantly trying to keep histamine in balance because it has a lot of good uses, but we don't want too much of it. And when somebody's mast cells have been overstimulated, they're going to have too much histamine. So we do have two enzymes that constantly break down histamine. So one is called DAO, and it's mostly in the gut, and the other one is HNMT, and is mostly inside the body, in the blood. And the DAO enzyme is designed to reduce the amount of histamine from food that we eat, so that not too much is absorbed into the body. And there are certain things that you could be drinking that can block your diamine oxidase that you have made. So about 30 to 40% of patients don't make sufficient diamine oxidase. And the last thing you want to do if you haven't made enough is to start blocking what you have made. Even if you make good levels, because there's so much histamine around, your DAO may be depleted. So again, you don't want to be having blockers. And blockers are tea and coffee, green tea, and alcohol. So you want to avoid those as much as possible. And just drink water, peppermint tea, and some herbal teas, but not green. And then you want to look at your food. So a lot of people eat tomatoes and avocados and spinach and things which are healthy, and of course they are healthy, but they're also very high in histamine. And so they're often, my poor patients, they are doing as best they can with healthy food and all the rest of it, and actually they're really adding to their histamine bucket all the time and making themselves worse. And then they can't understand, they don't realize it's the food that's making things worse as well. So it's difficult. So there are certain things that are very high in histamine, like tomatoes and avocados and spinach, and then wheat and dairy as well, and then bananas and strawberries, raspberries, they're all very high. So, and of the nuts, there are only 3 nuts that have very low histamine, and they're Brazil nuts, pistachio nuts, and macadamia nuts. So I would keep clear of all the rest, but you could have those. And then the fruits that are okay are, because sometimes it's easier to say what is good rather than what is high in histamine. So low in histamine would be blueberries, apples and pears, blackberries, melon, but not watermelon, passion fruit, pomegranate, nectarines and peaches and grapes. So that's quite a nice variety, but not bananas, please. Lots of people are eating bananas and they're very high in histamine.
What about any supplements that you're finding to be helpful in the people that you're treating?
Yes, so so vitamin D is very helpful. You want a high dose of vitamin D, 4,000, 5,000 units a day. Vitamin C is very important because it's actually an antihistamine. It's a natural antihistamine. Now, vitamin C is water soluble. So when you have some, it goes out of the body very quickly. It's metabolized away. So you do need to take either a slow release vitamin C, say 1,000 milligrams a day, or to have it 3 times a day, so that you're 1,000 milligrams 3 times a day, for example. So vitamin D, vitamin C, vitamin niacin, vitamin B3 is very important. Now, we found that NAD+, which is in the body, comes from niacin, and the NAD+ is one of the critical regulators of our physiology. And it requires zinc as well to do its functions. So literally every second we have billions of cell mechanisms going on, biochemical processes going on every second, billions, that include NAD+. So it's very, very important and in high demand. And the coronavirus seems to reduce the NAD+ in our bodies and steal that and the zinc. Now, the NAD+, the body makes some for itself as well from tryptophan, because it realizes it can't just rely on eating it in the diet. So it actually makes it from tryptophan because it's so important. And if our NAD+ levels go down, then the body is going to steal tryptophan, which should be doing other things like making serotonin and melatonin, to make some more NAD+, and that makes our serotonin levels go down. And serotonin keeps us happy. It also helps our immune system, and it also helps us sleep, our sleep rhythm with the melatonin. So unfortunately, if your serotonin goes down because the tryptophan is busy making NAD+, then the mast cells start releasing serotonin into the body, which of course brings us right back to the mast cells that start to become overactive again. I would also take zinc, 15 to 30 milligrams a day, selenium, 100 micrograms a day, or 3 Brazil nuts, which would be the same, and magnesium. And these have all been shown to be helpful. And I certainly find that my patients with long COVID find that particular mix helpful.